Eager to visit with you about anything that is important to you. Do not worry about us. We will wedge our message in the crack. We have all kinds of new things that we want to talk with you about today. Things that you know that you've forgotten, and some things that you have never known that you will now know. This is going to be a day of movement in your vibrational beingness. So, what do you want to talk about? You've come with some things. Good for you. Really, really good. Take it easy and trust that whatever it is, we'll talk about fully. Since you've been listening to us for a while, and we can feel the clarity of who you are, we're going to make this opening short. This short, in fact. We're going to open this conversation to the things that you really want to talk about. We're going to remind you of this one really important thing. And that is, everything that you speak about while you are speaking about it is practicing a vibration of it. And sometimes in the expressing of a problem or a question or an issue, you're actually practicing the vibration of the absence of what you want. Because the problem is a different vibration than the solution. The question is a different vibration than the answer. So sometimes, in fact, often, in fact, every single time, you're going to find us interrupting you, climbing all over your words, trying to distract you from where you think you want to go. Not because we don't want you to go there in posing the question, because there's a lot of bounce that we all get out of that, but because we don't want you to make a career out of the problem vibration. In other words, you can speak it short. You don't have to speak it and justify it. We all get it. In other words, the more you explain how you think you got to this problem place, the harder it is for us to bring you into the solution. And that's true not just when you're in this forum. It's true all the time. The less airtime you give to the problem, the faster the solution will come to you. Your children have trained you because you ask them to do something and they don't do it. You ask them again and they don't do it. And so you've developed patterns of believing that you have to stay after it like a dog on a bone. I will continue to wring this problem's neck until Abraham squirts out the answer. And we say, it isn't like that at all. It isn't like that at all, because we've been squirting out the answer for quite a long time. The universe is squirting out the answer. You are surrounded by squirted out answers and solutions. They are everywhere around you. But when you beat the drum of the problem, you are vibrationally blind to the solution. It's just the way it is, you see. So most of you have not realized that because, or you must not realize it, because you give a lot of attention to things. You practice the vibration of things. You foster beliefs about things that we know and you know you don't want. But because they are facts or because they are reality, you feel obligated or committed to be objective. It's true. Therefore, I will give my attention to it. I will beat the drum of this truth. And we say that's really a good idea if it's a truth that you want law of attraction to flesh out in your experience in more vivid detail. But if it's a truth that you would rather not live, then why not decide for it not to be active in your vibration? So how might you go about deactivating unwanted beliefs? Stop giving them airtime. They'll peter out in time. In other words, nothing will continue to be active in your vibration when you have lack of attention to it. That's what Jesus meant when he said, turn the other cheek. Give your attention to wanted, practice the vibration of wanted, law of attraction will respond to that. And that is primarily what you will be living, you see. Now, all of this is familiar to you, isn't it? If you've been listening to us for a while, have you? Do you know that you are the creator of your own reality? Do you know that you are a vibrational being? And that it is through your vibrational beingness that you are the creator, attractor of your own reality? Do you believe that you have control over your vibration? Conceptually. You know that it is possible. Do you believe that you are predominantly practicing control of your own vibration? We think you are predominantly, but we know you are here for fine-tuning, and we are too. So we're continually finding new ways of explaining to you how it is that you could more easily, with more flow, more chronically, more steadily, more often, and therefore more joyfully, be the creator of your own experience. Recently, we've been talking about how each time you know what you don't want, you send off a rocket of what you do want. Have you been hearing us say that? I've been saying it for a while. Wrote a whole book about it, the vortex. You throw these rockets of desires into your vortex of creation. Well, each one of those rockets causes a momentum. More momentum, more momentum, more momentum of what's wanted. So there is a spinning momentum, a vortex version, a vibrational version of that which you are wanting that is very practiced and very dynamic. It's moving quickly and it's sweeping up all cooperative components in its path, in its vibrational path, you see. The question is, are you a vibrational match to your own vortex? And sometimes you are and sometimes you aren't. Sometimes you're more knowing what you don't want than knowing what you do want. So you are not a vibrational match to your own desire. But when you do find some way of being a vibrational match to your vortex, which is the same thing as saying not being a contrary vibration, not being an opposite vibration, when the vibration of you is about wanted rather than unwanted, now you are a vibrational match. So then we began explaining to you that you stand in your physical body as an offer of vibration at all times. But there's a vortex version of you where the source within you exists that may be offering a different vibration than you are in any point in time. Can you think of what an example of that might be? You want something that you don't believe. The source within you is a vibrational match to your desire, while you are a vibrational match to the absence of your desire. And when that happens, you feel the vibrational discord that you describe as negative emotion. So in order for you to be the full manifester, the actualized example of, the living the reality of, the see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it, feel it version of your desire, you've got to find some way to bring the habit of your thought, the habit of your vibration, into resonance or alignment with what's in your vortex. So we began talking about your point of attraction because we want you to be aware of your point of attraction. We want you to think about what you're offering vibrationally because that's everything. The creative process is 3 steps. Step 1 is ask, and you do that, and the vortex is spinning with what you've asked for. That's step 2. Once you ask for it, it exists in a vibrational reality. Step 1, step 2. You ask, it's given. But you've got to become a vibrational version, a practiced vibrational version, not just a fleeting vibrational version. You've got to become a chronic you've got to become a believer in what you've asked for. You've got to practice the thought of what you want until it is such a habit within you that you believe it, that you know it. And when that happens, then your point of attraction, we've been calling where you stand, your point of attraction, your grid, because it's like the framework. You believe it and you know it. That's like creating the skeleton framework version of it. And then law of attraction will fill that grid in with all of the details, with all of the delicious details that you have already assigned by virtue of the sifting and sorting, that are already chosen by you, that are already gathered by source energy and by law of attraction. So there's this vortex version of you, and there's this you standing in your grid version of you. And the question that this gathering wants to ask and answer is, are you vibrationally up to speed with the vortex version of you? And your emotions are the key to that. So as you're moving through your life experience and you're feeling mostly sad, then you're not a vibrational match to what you've put into your vortex. Your grid version and your vortex version don't match. Your vortex version's up here and your grid version's down here. You're not a vibrational match. So what's in the vortex cannot flow easily into your experience. Law of attraction is not bringing it to you, or better said, you are not the realizer of it yet. You've got your radio dial set on something different than the radio dial of what you want. So you can't realize it. You can't experience it. Not yet. So as you move up this emotional scale, as you feel more hopeful, now you're closer to it. And in hope, occasionally, you find a thought that lets you catch a glimpse of what you put into your vortex. It begins to look as if it's going to happen for you. But it isn't until you have practiced so steadily the vibration of what you want that it's just known by you. Oh, it hasn't manifested, but that's not bothering you at all, because you have faith in the laws of the universe. You have confidence in your ability to focus. You know that you are the creator of your own reality. You believe that you can adjust your vibration at will. You know you can because you've done it before. Maybe not on this subject yet because it's a tougher subject. But you do have enough confidence in the laws of the universe being steady and consistent, and in the nature of the source within you of knowing you're worthy, knowing your value. And so, as you get hold of this understanding of how this all works, and in the early stages of your day, you deliberately choose which spinning grid disc you start the day out on. You start out discouraged like you were when you went to bed, had an argument. You know you're right, which means you know they aren't. And you're really tired of it. And when you wake up in the morning, does your mind go right there? Or do you see it as a fresh start where you could start different momentum if you wanted to, because this momentum is not yet underway? So you choose high-flying momentum. We'll be talking a lot about your choice of these grid discs, your choice of using momentum to your advantage. It's great fun when you begin to realize that in the early subtle stages of a day, you can choose this and maintain it for a little while. On the first day you do it, maybe not for long, but long enough that the second day it'll be easier. Maybe not for long, but long enough that on the third day it will be easier, until you'll begin every day right there. And at the beginning of every day, you will be standing in a vibrational grid that is allowing so many of the things that you've put into your vortex that it won't be long before you'll be a believer in your own griddedness. You'll be a believer in your own ability to maintain your vibrational prowess where you choose it to be. We're not asking you to create vibrational realities. We're not asking you to just continue to expand the vibrational version of you, the vortex version of you, and then leave it at that. But we are saying that's the first step in creation, knowing what you want, even when you don't have it. But the key to living happily ever after is, once you have created the vibrational version of it, you know what we mean by that. The desire is born within you. It's an idea of something that you want, even though it hasn't materialized yet. Once there is a vibrational version of it, it's sure, it's certain that the fleshed out version of it can be yours, provided you get vibrationally up to speed with the vibrational version of it. And there is only one thing that keeps you from being vibrationally up to speed with the vibrational version of it, and that is, you're bummed out because the materialized version of it hasn't shown up yet. You're not patient enough or satisfied enough with the vibrational version of it. So how can we convince you to be satisfied with the vibrational version of it when what you want is the materialized version of it? We really want to know that. What's it going to take for you to be satisfied before you've got it? We would think the promise of it would help. We would think past experience, where you recognize that these things have happened to you on many occasions, would help. But really, the thing that helps the most is when you are going for the prize, when what you're really reaching for is your resonance with your desire.